What's going on, everyone? A Bucket of Jake fanboy here. Now, for the better part of a decade, there's been a man afoot in the music sphere who has made quite the name for himself in the past couple of years. And you clicked on the video. It's JPEGMAFIA who we're discussing today. If you're watching this video, I'm guessing you have a brief understanding of who JPEGMAFIA is. But for those who don't know, JPEGMAFIA is a producer, singer, rapper, songwriter, and mixer. A jack of all trades. JPEGMAFIA, who I will be referring to as Peggy from now on, started making music in the early 2010s under the Devon Hendrix name, a name based off his real name. The music as Devon Hendrix didn't take off as all this music was uploaded onto his Bandcamp, but it's around 2015 where the JPEGMAFIA name was established and he began releasing music on major streaming platforms. But how did we get here? How did it all start? Well, we're gonna go straight to the beginning, so fasten your Bluetooth seatbelts and get ready, kids. Peggy was born Barrington Devon Hendrix in Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York, where he spent the better part of his childhood in. It was until the age of 13 when his family relocated to Alabama. I don't know why his parents would choose there, but alright. But it's in Alabama where Peggy would experience a lot of racism, who would have guessed, which would ultimately have an effect on him as a person and would form a lot of his political views, which reflects in his music. During Peggy's adolescence, he stated he grew up poor and enlisted in the Air Force since he had no other options. And these are words coming from him.
Around the time I joined the Air Force, I was just very poor. And in the States, the Army recruiters, the military recruiters, they come to poor areas to recruit people like me, basically, who have no options. I didn't have money to go to college or really to do anything else.
He moved to Louisiana at 18 to enlist in the Air Force, and Peggy was stationed in multiple countries during his time in the Air Force, such as Kuwait, Germany, and Japan, which are a couple countries he was stationed in. Peggy served in the Air Force for 8 years, which is how many years minimum you must serve before leaving the military. After that, he was honorably discharged for standing up against his oppressors, whatever that means. Peggy explains it better in an interview called One Joint with JPEGMAFIA, in which he was asked, "Earlier you were hitting on everyone asking you about the military, but I have one question. What is your story behind the honorable discharge?" And Peggy states the following: "Just means you go out and you didn't kill anybody. You didn't get into any trouble enough to get a dishonorable discharge. General is like, you did something, but it's not bad enough. Maybe you got caught with crack or some shit like that, but it's still heavy enough. Honorable just means you didn't do anything." After the honorable discharge, Peggy would later move to Baltimore, which is where the JPEGMAFIA moniker would be born. Now that we got the basic background info out the way, it's time to dive into the music. Peggy's first music endeavor started when he was 15 years old. He started making beats and even learned how to sample this early on, which is a craft he has perfected now in his music.
I started out as a producer. I've been making beats since I was like 13 or 14. And when I was first making beats, no one liked the beats. To this day, I give people beats and they're just confused. So I stopped, I don't have time for that shit. I have a vision for this shit and I want to get it done, and that's just it. I don't have time to dumb myself down for niggas if they don't really get it. It's whatever, you know what I'm saying?
So he took matters into his own hands and started rapping over them himself. Now, Peggy started making music while he was stationed in Japan, releasing his first official project under the Devon Hendrix name. He released Generation Y in 2011. Now, I've only listened to his album a couple times, and it's not my cup of tea. I wouldn't blame anyone if he disliked it, as it is his first project and pretty rough around the edges. A lot of Peggy's music as Devon Hendrix is lo-fi. And no, not lo-fi like the lo-fi hip-hop you listen to while you study. It is lo-fi in the sense that it is low fidelity, so don't expect a Rick Rubin level production if you so dare listen to Generation Y. Peggy would go on to release 4 more albums as Devon Hendrix, which are the following: Joe Chillwood in 2011, The Rockwood Escape Plan and Dreamcast Summer Songs in 2012, and his final project is Devon Hendrix, The Ghost Pop Tape in 2013, which is heavily praised by fans. I will dive deeper into Peggy's music as Devon Hendrix in another video, as the rabbit hole goes pretty deep. Another detail I forgot to mention is that the music as Devon Hendrix are demos, and Peggy doesn't like his older work. He stated in a tweet back in 2020. I won't lie. Some of my old shit is hard to hear now, especially the Ghost Pop tape. I was very close to death when I made this, but for y'all I will. No dates right now, but when I have time and desire, I'll do it. After the release of the Ghost Pop tape, he started releasing music under the JPEGMAFIA moniker, the one we all know and love today. He released his first project, the mixtape Common Slow Jams, and released his second mixtape, Dark Skin Manson, later that year. Peggy would release his debut studio album in 2016 with Black Ben Carson. All these projects are very political in the lyrics, but Black Ben Carson contains industrial hip-hop production and a lot of electronic influence.
I say peers, I just mean people who also rap and love the art or whatever. But my main influences is this old band, Throbbing Gristles, before either one of our times for real. Yeah. But Throbbing Gristle, Bad Brains, a lot of old punk bands.
Yeah.
Old school New York shit, Nas, AZ.
Musical influences, do you only pull from hip hop, or because I hear
this album is quite abrasive for the average Joe schmo, but it is a good intro into the industrial hip-hop scene. The seasoned hip-hop heads can appreciate this album and its quality. Definitely recommend this album to the Death Grip fans out there. And no, it's not because Peggy looks like him.
How the fuck do I look like MC Riot? Come on, yo. Really? That shit is
racist. It's bullshit.
In 2018, Peggy released Veteran, one of my personal favorite albums. This album definitely falls on more the electronic side, but it has its industrial hip-hop passages. It kind of feels like mainly a glitch hop album with industrial rap verses mixed in, and it's very atmospheric, giving it a cloud rap feel to it. The album also features an R&B song, which is some nice contrast in the mix. Definitely a harder album to get into due to how abstract the project can be, but I recommend it to the electronic fans out there. Personal favorite tracks are DD Form 214 and I Cannot Fucking Wait Till Morrissey Dies.
I'ma slap the shit out of Morrissey.
2019 saw the release of my favorite Peggy project, All My Hairs Are Cornballs. I can't tell if that name aged well or if not. The only way I can describe this album is an amalgamation of sounds, and it's all over the place, but in the best way possible. One second you're listening to some industrial collage of sounds, you could barely make out anything that's going on. The next you listen to a very melodic poppy rap song. This album hits in all the right places. Who else can cover No Scrub by TLC and make it sound like their own? No one better come after me for that statement. All My Hairs Are Cornballs is a fantastic record. I recommend this to anyone because of how musically diverse it is. Favorite tracks are Basic Bitch Tear Gas and Dot's Freestyle Remix. 2021 is the last time we got new solo music from Peggy with the release of LP. This is probably the most accessible Peggy project as it is more of a traditional hip-hop album in the rapping style, but other than that we still get Peggy's traditional production style with some hard-hitting beats. The bass on this album is absurd. If you're a bass head, this album is definitely for you. Some of Peggy's best instrumentals by far. If I gave this album a game rating, it would be E for everyone because every single song feels like you're getting slapped with a fish by a grizzly bear, something everyone should experience.